Good morning, traders. Find out what's on discount today. I mean, the stocks action, at least on live trading. Let's see what we can come up with. Maybe make a little bit of some Black Friday money. Hit the like button. Let's get it started. You know, your family doesn't quit. Even on Black Friday, we're coming after it and bringing a special guest like we've been doing this week. You guys hit the like. Let's get it started.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. I mean, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, team, it calls for the action because let's bring in the boys. We got Nick Brown in the house. News by Nick. Ryan Faloona, of course, smiling like ever because the turkey and gravy was great, baby. How was it, guys? You guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving?
I mean, it was so good. I'm still wearing my official Thanksgiving sweater today just because it comes back on for Black Friday. Thanksgiving was amazing. Food was amazing. Drink was amazing. Football was fun. It was absolutely awesome.
Anyone take a nap after?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely, dude. I was fighting food coma all day. I was taking espresso shots to try and fight it off, but I succumbed to a nap myself. It was glorious, the whole thing.
That's how it goes sometimes, man. I'm excited to get to the stock action at least for a little while. We'll see what happens. Of course, we'll be around probably till 10:30 today, guys. We'll wrap it up at 10:30. The markets will be open till 1 p.m.
1.
Yes, and then bond markets close at 2.
I guess the bond traders wanted an extra hour to have some fun. We'll see what happens with
bond
that.
Traders aren't even at their desk, man. They're not even there.
At least not the good ones. Let's see what's going on right now, guys. An interesting stock that was brought up in pre-market prep was this SN. Do you know anything about SN, guys? I'm putting the guys on the spot here.
No.
Don't worry, because I didn't know it either. This is actually
Shark Ninja.
Probably one of the most spot stocks, or at least of their products on Black Friday.
Is this like Shark, like the cleaning products,
exactly.
like the Dyson knockoffs?
Like Ninja, okay. Like I have like a Ninja pressure cooker. Like
I have a Ninja blender.
There you go. I have a Ninja blender too. I have that one also. So hey, there you guys have it. This is an interesting newer stock that was brought to me. And I think it's always fun to find these stocks, right? You never thought that this was out on the market. Well, this was moving because of what? iRobot, right? And we'll see what happens with that action as that's been lifting off. That's actually up 40% off of the mentions that they could go through with the Amazon deal. But just wanted to bring some Black Friday fun here before we talked about other stocks. Of course, I still got XLE to the short, AAL to the long side. I actually added on AAL, which is interesting here. If you guys remember, I was actually down towards like 1180s, and I added. Now I'm up towards 1201, but I'm looking for the move back above 1280s, 1275. If we come back through 12, I'll get out. But looking for this to now make that jump up. We'll see what happens with AAL and different stocks today. Of course, some technology names pulling back a little bit in the pre-market, NVIDIA pulling back, but it was already getting a little bit of action. Now, one thing that I want to point to you guys is I don't think we're the only ones trying to play the reversal action. Look at the amount of volume jump in the last 4 days for the SQQQ. That's an insane amount, right? Compared to the relative volume, it just goes to show me, like on usual, we trade about 21 million shares. We're trading 63 and 67 million shares on the SQQQ. So that means we're not the only ones maybe playing a little bit of reversal action. What does that mean? Could it mean that bigger traders are starting to get in here and load a position? It could be. So we'll see today if we get a little bit of some downside action in the market after it's just been hot, and bulls in control. All right, I'll kick it to you guys on stock market action. What are you guys seeing out there? And if you're seeing any news, Nick, you can always bring that in for us. There's a lot of talk out there with different stocks this week. Maybe we even can bring in some news that maybe caught your attention this week. I know Nick keeps up with it all. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at different stocks. I'm going to kick it to Ryan's charts here to have Benzinga Pro up. Of course, we do have also a Black Friday deal for Benzinga Pro. We have a Black Friday deal for Trade the Pool. We'll talk all about them during the show. So stick around, team.
Okay, so you don't want me to talk about it right now? Is that?
Yeah. Like we'll go to stock action, then we'll go to the
I wasn't sure how you were throwing that to me.
Come on, man.
Still a little hungover from the turkey, so it is
what
it is.
I like the soft sell people, man.
You kind of have to tease them and make them stick around.
Okay, well here you go. This is how we're going to do it. So first of all, Black Friday every year is the best sale we ever offer on Pro. So if you are looking, if you have been waiting, today is the day, and I will personally hook you up with someone that can get you all that stuff. We'll talk about that in a little bit, though, just to kind of whet the appetite. Now there are a couple of styles, but first of all, as Mitch drops a whole bunch of sound there that I'm talking over, the one thing I will say is that for the SPY, I'm not really putting a whole lot into the SPY today. First of all, it's a half session. The volume is definitely going to be light where most people are away for the holiday and all that. I'm not necessarily gonna put a whole lot into that. The one thing I will say here with the SPY, and this was 13, if you're out there, he's probably not because he had a ton of scotch yesterday, but if he is out there today, shout out to 13. We have the makings of what's called a tri-star doji, which would be an extremely, extremely bearish reversal if we end up getting that. So you can see we've actually already got 2 of the star dojis. We'll see if we get a third here today. If this turns out to be a doji of any kind, especially if we get tails at all here, I would imagine we probably are set up to drop pretty good on Monday. We'll see if that ends up happening. Other than that, not really looking at any of that today. Sometimes known as Turkey Crack Friday. Today, a whole bunch of crazy, small, junky, whatever so you could call it, stocks end up going crazy. So we'll be taking a look at the market for some of those. Couple of things that are jumping off of the page here a little bit early. Ticker MTC. This is MM Tech. This had popped as high as 155. This is actually doing a decent job holding some of its gains here today. I don't really see anything in here, so maybe just kind of a momentum play. I would say with all of these, use the technicals, whether it's Fibonacci retracements, moving averages of the exponential or simple kind, any tech analysis that you use. Try to stick to that here today. I'm not sure that these are really going to be moving on fundamentals or anything like that. So especially with some of the gains, unless the thing really looks like an absolute rocket, don't be afraid to take your gains today either. So MTC, first one on the list gapping up here that we should watch here today. Next is going to be SPRC. Everyone should know about this because we've been on this for a couple of weeks. We were on this day before yesterday. As you can see here, there's been a number of other days. Let me reset the chart here. There's been a number of other days where SPRC is really getting jiggy. This thing was already up to 1050 this morning in the pre-market when here we are down at 8. So let's see if this ends up gearing back up. SPRC definitely on the list. PXMD, this was a holdover from, I believe, earlier this week. I think there are a couple of you. Bex, you might have been in this one. PXMD. In any case, PXMD, they did have an offering. Let's take a look here at the news real quick. They did have a $7 million offering after market on Wednesday. So that was going into the Thanksgiving holiday. Now, they're higher here today. So interestingly, really hasn't sold off from that. That could be very bullish. Let's see if we get up towards that intraday high of 129, pop and move above on PXMD. FSR, this is, of course, Fisker. This is the EVs have really been hurting. Fisker here gapping up today, or at least trading up here today. Volume really, really slight. I don't want to really make a call on this at all until we see what the volume is like from the regular session. XPEV, another EV car maker, China trading up there. CLSK, this has a Bitcoin angle. Bitcoin relatively stable here, but still at that 38,500 handle. Hi, buddy. But CLSK gapping up here a little bit. I also saw Femi on here. So Sydney, if you're out there, it looks like Femi's getting a little bit of action here this morning. And then, of course, we also had Mara on here, and then a couple of ETFs. So Nick, I'm going to turn this over to you. I'll go ahead and drive if you just want to roll through some stocks here. What did you see?
I was going to say, if you could throw up a chart on NVIDIA, there was some news late last night, early this morning. Reuters is reporting NVIDIA has told customers in China it is delaying the launch of the new artificial intelligence chip it designed to comply with U.S. export rules until the first quarter of next year. Two sources familiar with the matter said that's according to Reuters. The delayed chip is the H20, the most powerful of the three China-focused chips NVIDIA has developed to comply with the fresh U.S. export restrictions, the sources said, and could complicate its efforts to preserve market share in China against local rivals like Huawei. So, we've heard from NVIDIA. They reported earnings earlier this week. Again, they had some guidance. Stock really wasn't doing too much just because it has run up so much. We're kind of like hitting that wall once again, Ryan. It's like, where is the stock going from here? Can it go any higher? Do we have to have a pullback first before we reach new highs? So just continuing with NVIDIA, not too many price target changes today, but there were a lot of price target changes on Tuesday after the company reported earnings and some guidance just regarding the chips and stuff. So chip sector, NVIDIA with this H20 and everything regarding this area and the fresh export restrictions. We're going to have to watch this into year end. If you could throw up a chart of Amazon, there's actually two things here, Amazon and the iRobot. There's two regarding Amazon and iRobot. Then there's another one regarding some protests regarding strikes in Europe. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But first, for the Amazon and iRobot case, Amazon is set to win unconditional EU antitrust approval for its $1.4 billion acquisition of robot vacuum maker iRobot. That's according to three people familiar with the matter. They said on Thursday, it's per Reuters. Antitrust enforcers around the world have stepped up scrutiny of big tech acquiring smaller rivals, concerned about the accumulation of troves of data by a few companies and big players leveraging their dominance into the new markets. I believe we're waiting for China. If not, I believe China did approve this deal. So this deal should be closing relatively soon. But just watch Amazon and iRobot. Sticking with Amazon, this was yesterday. Amazon workers came out on strike at multiple locations in Europe on Friday as protests against the U.S. e-commerce giant's working practices picked up pace on one of the busiest shopping days of the year. Make Amazon Pay, a campaign coordinated by the UNI Global Union, said strikes and protests would take place in more than 30 countries from Black Friday, the day after the U.S. Thanksgiving holiday, when many retailers slashed prices to boost sales through Monday, known as Cyber Monday. The union said a 24-hour strike across 5 fulfillment centers in the country had started at midnight on Thursday to demand a collective wage agreement. Per Reuters, an Amazon spokesperson in Germany said workers are paid fair wages with a starting salary of more than 14 euros, converting that to euros to dollars, which is $15.27 an hour, and have additional benefits. The spokesperson said deliveries of Black Friday orders will be reliable and timely. So we're going to have to watch how this plays out. And to end it off, we're still thinking about football. Football isn't going away. The NFL is starting a new scheduled tradition in 2023 with the first Black Friday game that will be streamed exclusively on Amazon Prime Video. The game will be streamed for free as part of a Black Friday deal presented by Amazon, so fans don't have to subscribe to watch the contest between the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. The last game played on Black Friday was between the Patriots and Buffalo Bills on November 23rd, 1962, and that was an AFC-AFL lineup. Kickoff is at 3 p.m., but coverage begins at 1:30 only on Amazon Prime Video. Mitch is a Dolphins fan, and I took the other side. We were discussing this earlier this morning before we come on air. I am taking the Jets, so we shall see how this bet works out.
One of the things that I was saying about that, this is actually a sneaky spot for the Jets to win a game. But one of the other things that we discussed early, I'm actually taking Amazon in this entire fiasco. I think that this is an absolute power play move to take over all of Black Friday. Get everyone that's watching football into your Amazon ecosystem, blast them with the ads that you want for Black Friday. To me, this just seems like a win-win-win for Amazon. We'll see on the football game. I got a parlay on it, but I don't pick the winner in it.
I was going to say regarding the deals, and I forgot about that. Black Friday, it's today. Shoppers are already out. Tons of people already out. But the thing is, guys, when you look at the deals, Amazon's like giving right now 10% off, 12% off. Nobody wants that. We're looking for 30, 40, 50% off. That comes Monday, I hope, for Cyber Monday. But when you look at the TVs, 10% off, that's really nothing. So we'll see how the deals shape out to be. According to Bloomberg, people are still spending on dining, Taylor Swift tickets, and, well, cars and everything else.
Are you a Swiftie?
Yes.
Got put on the spot.
Don't
but
be
when
here.
it comes to football, no. I think that's a whole distraction when it comes to football.
I agree. First of all, a couple of things here on that. Number one, I agree with Nick. I think the whole thing with the football is a distraction. I wouldn't be upset if that ended anytime soon. I think that's a huge farce. Here's what I will say about Taylor Swift. First of all, Nick, you should never be embarrassed by saying that you're a Swiftie. Someone of your age, you should go to a Taylor Swift concert, and I bet it will be like shooting fish in a barrel. You will be able to meet so many women there. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, the other thing that I'm going to say here is I'm someone that does not like that kind of poppy music. I am not into Taylor Swift's music at all. I don't listen to it. I have nothing on a playlist. I might hear a song and be like, who is this? And then some smartass will be like, that's Taylor Swift, dumbass. Okay, that's me. But what I will say here is that I can still appreciate what she's doing. Every person that I've talked to, whether I know them personally or not, they say that the concerts she put on are second to none. That woman and her staff work their asses off to put on shows that are top notch, and there is never a complaint about them. So my personal feelings towards her music are an aside. She is an incredible performer and entertainer, an outstanding businesswoman, takes care of her staff, and of course is a animal person, specifically cats. So she's going to get multiple thumbs up in my book, even if I don't like the music. Don't ever be embarrassed about saying you're a Swiftie.
Okay, so the music is great. It's just when it comes to football and we're trying to make this all about Taylor Swift and Kelsey, we don't care that she's on the sidelines and with Donna Kelsey. We actually want to see the replay. And CBS has gotten backlash from this just because Taylor Swift is at the game. My God, the world doesn't have to stop. Continue with football. And I think it's a big distraction. And even the NFL, I think, and Amazon have tried and boosted sales to try and say, hey, Taylor Swift's in the house.
See, the thing about the NFL is they saw Chief jerseys increase in sales exponentially, and they saw dollar signs, and they're like, yeah, we'll let this run for a little bit. That's basically how it works with the NFL.
But then you have to pick which Kelsey is performing better. Is it Jason or is it Travis? And my guess would be is Travis is kind of distracted because of Taylor Swift. And what I saw on the game between Kelsey and between the Eagles and Chiefs, Jason actually did better than Travis just because he wasn't distracted.
Yeah, the older brother was locked in. He really wanted to beat up on baby brother and get a dub for the first time. I'm with you, though. Let me just say this. The breakup song that she's going to write when she dumps Travis Kelce, that song is going to be epic. Everyone's going to know it, even me.
Does she have the parlay? I don't know. We'll find out. Let's get to the action, guys. Let's take a look at what stocks you guys are going to come after today. A little part of me is feeling the SQQQ trade again. Call me a degenerate. Call me whatever you want.
I'm still in it.
I don't know. I'm going to take a shot here. I'm actually going to take some right now in the pre-market, guys. So you guys will see me get 100 shares right now. And then the reason why is I just want to make sure that if we do get, like, just say a spike out the gates, that I'm already in. So there's 100 shares, guys. I'm going to take a little bit of a day trade on this. Going to see what happens out the gates to see what this does, right? If it pulls back, I can just instantly get out below like 1566. I'm going to look for a pop above 16, and then we're going to look for it to come back towards 16. As it pops above 16, that's what I'll be looking for. We'll find out what happens here out the gates. Q's already kind of showing a little bit of some weakness as we go right now into 929. I think we're at 27s. We're already starting to decline a little bit, so I took a shot there. I'll also keep watch, of course, of NVIDIA to see if that can actually hold the rebound that it's doing right now, because that's the stock that if it drives back, let's say through 490s, yeah, we'll probably get the Qs to turn right back up. So here's the NVIDIA chart. Let's find out what happens. And hims, guys. I made a decent trade on this last on Friday. I sold it, though. I sold it in like the 812s, 813s. as it started to creep back up. I wanted it to get to 825s. We'll see what happens with that one today. And stay tuned. We got some great conversation that I will bring up during the stream. Like always, got to bring some talk, right? I did a little Swifty talk there. I got the guys going. So we'll find out what I could bring up with next. I guess I'll tell you one thing. I don't think anybody could guess what I'm going to bring up. And it happened yesterday. We'll find out about it.
You're so unpredictable. And I don't know you pretty well, but we've been working together for a year at this company.
You know I'm a wild card, baby.
I still don't know what you're like. And so that means I guess I got to tune in during school just to make sure you're behaving. Well, I know Ryan will keep you under control.
Hey, you know me. I'd be like Dave Chappelle sometimes and be like.
But Mitch, to the question regarding Black Friday, are you and Ryan and everybody else, are you actually going to go out and continue to buy? Like, is the consumer going to slow at some point, or do consumers just have so much money we're going to spend till the ends of the earth?
I think at some point they got to start the
I declare bankruptcy.
I think they'll get to that point. I mean,
like the iPhones, $1,100 for a new iPhone 15 Pro Max. Are you kidding me? And there's people that just have the 14 that says, "Oh yeah, I got to go to the 15." Like, where are they getting all this money?
Well, first of all, as far as the iPhones, you can pay that in a monthly thing. That's more of like a service. So that upgrade's fairly easy. Nick, the one thing about the consumer, like the larger point that you're making here, I think that you're absolutely onto something. I think the consumer is going to weaken, but I think that process is going to take into the first half of 2024. So I think that you could see some outsized pockets of strength in retail, especially today.
So what,
or in this holiday season, I should say.
Is that the best thing to buy this season? Is like new appliances, new TVs, like electronics? Or
I mean, I don't ever think an iPhone is the best thing to buy as an Android user, so no. But
all right, we're open, team. We're open. Ding, ding, ding is right, guys. Get to the chopper. SQQQ starting to move up right out the gates. This is what I kind of wanted to see. Now we're up in the 1590s. Now let's see if it really starts ripping through 16 here. Going to also take a look to see what stocks could pull back, right? I'm going to look at the Qs. I'm going to look at what's extended on the upside and then start looking to see if we get some downside action. Another stock that I don't want to miss is Disney. I'm pretty sure this is going to be one that I'm going to be fighting for a while, guys. So taking a look at maybe shorting some Disney also.
You don't want to travel, Mitch? You don't want to go to the Disney parks?
No, man. I just think it's ridden up way too much. I'm already taking a little bit there at Disney. We'll find out how that works out. I'm already getting a starter, and then we'll see what happens on that one. Disney, short side.
Real quick, for anyone that's interested in any service that Benzinga offers, I just threw James's contact information into the chat. Reach out to him today. I don't care if it's a school, newsletter, product, or pro. Reach out to him. He's going to be able to help you. He's got all of the deals here today. We rarely do this, but today is the day.
I mean, look, our content team, guys, I got to throw it out to our content team. Content was being produced yesterday, overnight. Like, our content team does not stop. And we had some amazing editors, amazing writers just yesterday through the weekend. Content never stops here at Benzinga. And so once you get to pro, you will see that content is produced 10, 11, 12, 1 in the morning when I'm awake. When I'm awake and, trying to find out news.
All right, looking around, team, to see what happens here. Taking it easy out the gates, at least. Just have only 2 trades on. We'll see how it starts to work here. Qs are coming back a little bit. They did do a little bit of a wick down. Let's see if it could get above 390s today. That's kind of like the pressure to the upside. And of course, that could be NVIDIA pushing towards the upside. There's 486 for NVIDIA. Can it get to 490s?
Do you think retail? What would you?
XRT is the play that I've been. XRT is not a bad one. I'd look at that for like retail, Nick, and that's the easiest way, I think, to include majority of the major names and some smaller names. Of course, Amazon, stocks like that could get a lift today based on Black Friday. What am I seeing up right now? I'm seeing Bath and Body Works get a little bit of a lift. Five Below get a little bit of a lift. Chewy getting a little bit of a lift today. Burlington, big move has continued. That's interesting. Even Carvana getting a little push up today. Academy Sports, a little bit of a push. We'll see what happens there.
What about the major retailers like Walmart, Target? Do you expect sales? Because we've seen recently that they have been hesitant to say this is going to be a good holiday season. We've known from Target that people for the theft is still continuing and they're locking more items up. And the question is, are you going to wait for a store employee to come and unlock your item that you want?
No,
that is true.
I'm not going to. No.
There's a reason why I don't go to Walgreens or CVS anymore, because 30 or 50% of the store is behind glass doors. So, I mean, why am I going to be waiting to get the one employee that's at the front at the register to come open this case for me? The one employee that they have in the whole store, I'm going to pull him from the register to come open this case for me. I mean, like, I even feel bad for that guy. I'm like, dude, you gotta hold the register down. You gotta come open this. You gotta do the stocking in the back. Like, how do they run this store? Well, they make me do everything. That's what a lot of the
I wasn't on
guys
this
tell
week.
me.
Well, I was listening, but what did you guys think of the OpenAI stuff and Sam Altman returning this Microsoft stuff?
Man,
that just seemed like a bunch of I wish you were on more for that. That seemed like a bunch of drama. I stayed out of it. I'm not going to let any of that stuff. I'm not going to let any of that stuff.
To me, that's your classic holiday
soap opera
catalyst. Yeah, they like to have something to talk about, right? And I think they took that to a whole nother level, Nick. I
think it was Dan Ives that said it. This is like a soap opera in Silicon Valley.
It literally was, and it goes to show you that sometimes you can't even believe what CEOs say, because Microsoft CEOs pretty much said, like, we hired him, like it's already done.
Yeah.
And then he came back and was like, oh no, hold on a second.
When this news broke, and I'm like, not again. And I think I was in the middle of Walmart or Target on a Twitter Spaces, and I'm like, sorry guys, you're gonna have to hear this noise, just because we heard from this. So the information in The Verge, Mitch, I think did a really good job putting into perspective all of the different sources and all of the different information, and walking us through the process of how Sam Altman could be returning, what the board is like, what Microsoft is saying. But, this thing about the board automatically saying, hey, you're out of here. Like, those are some pretty, like, details that people want to know, that I still want to know. So now we know, Mitch, don't accept a Google invite from our boss, Jason, or whoever here is at Benzinga. If they say jump on a Google Meet, you got to kind of say, you got to decline, just because maybe that's a warning. Well, I'm fired. I'm out of here today.
Hey, how it goes, man. Sometimes when you see that password not working, you freak out a little bit. Everyone's like, did I just get the rug pull?
Yeah. Did Benzinga just lock me out of my Slack and Gmail?
That's how it is, man. Hey, be careful out there. We'll see what happens, guys. Right now, I am finally starting to see the Qs go back to the VWAP here. This is when I'm going to take my second shot and my day trading shot on the day here. So looking for, let's start getting this going here.
Mitch, I don't know if somebody's watching us from CNBC, but literally, as we just got done talking about Sam Altman, they literally just threw his picture up and they're talking about him right now. So I don't know if it will like lead content to him or what, but Sam Altman.
Hey, what can I say, man? I've said it before. Hello, CNBC producers. Hello.
Welcome. But I mean,
welcome to the show here at Benzinga, baby.
Yeah. So talking stocks here, just because I'm a nerd and 17 and I have nothing else better to do. But like talking about John Deere and a lot of these other companies as we start heading into the winter season, how do you make the rotation out of like John Deere and go to other sectors? Are there any specific places you would kind of hint us to? Should we go to the retailers year end? Should we go to nat gas, like oil companies, as we head into year end with oil prices making somewhat of a decline? So like, how would you help position people here as we head in from the retailing? Because we're still into retail, I think, all the way through January as we head through Christmas. Do we kind of move away from tech and go to, communications or financials? Like, how do we move away from banks? Because banks were making some headlines this week regarding the credit crunch, job cuts at Barclays starting, I think, next week. Bloomberg is reporting there's like 2,000 jobs being cut. How do we move around and how can we position ourselves as we head in through year end?
I agree. I think it's very important to keep your eyes on that, and just gotta take it easy. I think for right now, especially as you get through this little holiday period, this is like the ramp up before Thanksgiving, right? And then there's usually a little bit of a lull going into early December. Then we'll see if we get that next run. So I think that there's more than capabilities to get some kind of pullback action here. And then we'll see what happens there. Taking a look also at SOXS on this pullback. If we're going to get some of these technology names to go red today, maybe this starts to lift again. Another thing that I see here, a lot of volume built up the last couple of days. So we're not the only ones looking at this trade. I'm sure plenty of people are looking at this trade. We'll find out if it works today.
I mean, are we watching airlines? Do you think airlines could be a good trade as we head into year end with travel? I mean,
there's a reason why I'm long it. And the most important thing I think for that, Nick, is not only holiday period, but that would be to me what oil, baby. Can oil come back down? Right? It's been a bounce.
I mean,
and now we're seeing a little bit of a drop today.
Yeah, I was gonna say AAA we continue to see declines. Talking about the Thanksgiving travel and stuff, Mitch. Do we kind of position ourselves for like a year-end rally, not only in major averages, but in like the retail, the airlines? How do we kind of position ourselves with this wild times? Do we see a Santa Claus year-end rally? Do we see 4,800 this year?
I don't know about that one. And if we do, would that just be the ultimate setup to stomp the bulls going into next year? That's the hard part, right? Is that you could even have really good positions on there, and then next thing you know, next year it ruins that. So I think that at this point you have to be a very nimble trader, taking gains when you can, also being kind of worried about a quick turnaround, especially in some tech areas.
I mean, today really many moves shouldn't be made just because of how light the volume and how thin it is. We are getting some updates, Mitch. I do just want to bring attention to the Israel and the Hamas. They are releasing the first round of hostages this morning, moments ago, crossing the wires. It is going to be very interesting as we position into year-end, Mitch, how the Russia, Ukraine, Israel, and Hamas war continue. And even looking around the globe with China and Taiwan, how we position ourselves with these different wars and the different minerals, the different chip stocks, the different oil stocks, and even coming up into next year through an election year, could move the market with different policies, not only regarding China, but Russia, Ukraine, stimulus. We know that the government is passing or has passed the deal to keep the government open in January, but they're going to have to renegotiate for February, then maybe beyond. There's a lot of, I don't want to say signals, but there's a lot to be thinking of as we head into year end with the consumer, with growth, with the Fed. How does the Fed position itself into year end? How are cuts being positioned? There's a lot on our plate, and these days where we get very thin volume can really move the market. One stock can, and one headline can. And so anything can happen on a day, but you kind of have to be thinking about these things as we head into year end, because December, is right around the corner.
Right around the corner indeed, man. And something definitely to keep your eyes open for. I am getting a little bit of a jump in XLE. And so I'm looking at the daily chart, trying to figure out where am I going to add. I'm looking for ads above like the 85.20s, 80 towards 85.50s. I still like this. And I think that over the weekend, we could get a really hard downturn. So right now I'm seeing Apple come down to 190s. Apple's not the strongest name today. Microsoft also not the strongest name. Nvidia's just that VWAP. Meta, that is one of the strongest stocks, is down towards the support. I'm going to see if that rides back towards 341.50s, but keeping an eye also on this XLE. There you go. Just get a little bit more. I'm actually be setting some orders up here based on 4-hour charts. All right, so up in this space is where I want to get filled some. So I'm going to go ahead and just set like a little bit of a wall here. Let's do 55.
I could have predicted that myself, that you were going energy, because we've been talking about energy for a while. But to the broader market, Mitch, if energy continues to decline and WTI, because we know the RBOB gasoline is tumbling, continues to tumble. If oil continues to get back down to 75, 70, I mean, Mitch, we have an OPEC meeting, and I thought this was interesting that they had to postpone the meeting in Vienna this weekend, and they're moving it to being virtual on Thursday just because there's some talk that they don't want Russia and Saudi Arabia doing all the work. They're trying to come up with agreements with Argentina and the different oil producers. That was very shocking, saying, oh, sorry, we're not flying to Vienna this weekend, and we're moving it to virtual. Moving it to virtual is, I'm on to something here. And when I'm on to something, it always means it's good. Moving it to virtual actually signals that there's a lot of disagreements within OPEC and OPEC Plus and Russia and Saudi Arabia with what they're going to be doing for oil. And that could signal oil prices continuing to move lower.
All right, guys, I'm taking my shot here, guys. I've been adding the SQQQs on pullbacks here, looking for the Qs to do a quick dip down, big bar here. Let's see if we get it here. I think that, you have your chance of it coming back through 90.25. That's for the bull run. Just be careful. Let's see what happens here. Taking a little bit of a shot, guys. And I think I've been taking this, and I'm going to continue it because at some point, I think I can get all the gains back, but you have to keep it tight on the risk to return here. NVIDIA is your kind of VWAP setup back to the upside. If you guys like NVIDIA coming back, it is setting up right off the VWAP here. I think it comes back down, but that's just how it goes, right? That's how trading is sometimes, guys. Some things are going to look good. Like this is on the VWAP right now. Will it come back up to this area, or will it break through the support on the downside action here? You have it right in there. So this is what I call the battle between the bulls and the bears. That's it right here. Let's see what happens on NVIDIA. Is it a big bar down or big bar up?
You heard the news me and Ryan were discussing earlier, right? Regarding the chips, and they were telling
China, baby.
China, again, it's all China and Yahweh.
You know how it goes, man. It's all on
China.
Well,
China.
Well, China hasn't really been strong as people have expected. They thought retail was going to be better. They thought growth was going to be better. They thought their economy was going to be better. And it turns out that they're still living the COVID life. And there's kind of really no timetable on when China will be back to its 2016, 2017 self. Mitch, we are getting some economic data on this Friday. And, I always like data, so I thought it would be important to bring that to our viewers. We are getting the data. S&P Global Manufacturing November preliminary 49.4. That is better than expected that's worse than expected. They wanted 49.9. Previously was 50. Global Services PMI 50.8. Estimate was for 50.3. Previously was 50.6. So there was a beat there. And the Global Composite PMI 50.7. Previously was 50.7. Estimates for 50.4. So some eco data for Friday. Other than that, we really don't have much to talk about. It's a preliminary read. So we will get another read of this in just a few weeks for the final PMI on S&P Global. Mitch, manufacturing and services too, that's another industry that could position itself for a little bit of a year-end rally just because we haven't seen manufacturing coming back as stronger than anticipated. And even the services too on a front, not really that strong as expected. I don't know if you would disagree or agree.
I'd agree, man. I agree. And I think this is all things that you got to keep watch on, right? Everything kind of moves really nimble and quick in this market. And that's how you have to be. You have to be quick to change. I know that a lot of people get upset sometimes about being kind of a little bit of a flip-flopper. That's just how it goes, team. The truth is that you're going to be wrong, but you can't stay wrong as a trader. That's the number one thing that can hurt you, is being wrong and then just fighting that mentality, right? That's how I've had the worst trades of my life, is where a trade goes against me and I'm like, no, but this shouldn't go down. We got to take those types of things out, right? There's nothing that should or should not be up. It's just the way it goes, and price action rules it all. Smash the like out there, guys. We're having a good time, of course, and we'll see what happens now, guys. I'm stepping up to the plate, guys. I got 500 shares of SQQQ, so you guys know how I feel about it. What about shot? That was a hot stock just recently, man. This thing's gone from 315 to 395. What's up with the shot? Man, I should have shorted the crap at this thing in 6. Oh, I should have shorted the crap out of that thing when it was up there. Hey, but that's how it goes sometimes, team.
Mitch, I forgot about this. TikTok. Do you think TikTok poses a risk because of the TikTok shop? Do you think that poses a risk to the other major retailers trying to buy items online? I really don't use the TikTok shop or use TikTok that much, but thinking about the TikTok shop and what their items could be, could that pose a risk to the Amazon, the Target, the Walmarts?
I don't know, man. I highly doubt it. I think you're better off believing that the snap will be a good thing for Amazon than TikTok ruling the world there. And the big thing there is that the only thing that they could probably do a little bit better of, Nick, is that they probably track the crap out of you versus like Amazon that's trying to limit the tracking. So since that track happens of all your content, even your eyeballs moving left or right, just to give you guys some examples of what TikTok could be tracking, it could be tracking your camera. If you don't know, just look into the things that you accept when you become a TikTok member and look in the fine print. There's a lot of things there you'd be surprised about. But yeah, definitely, I think that they'll give you probably very personalized items to buy, and so that might help, but we'll see what happens.
Or Facebook Marketplace and the Meta ads could a little bit of a risk.
Cues are starting to come down here, guys. It's looking a lot better now for me as I start to really get that leak, and Apple just coming down to 189 tells me that, yeah, I can come after this now. Even StockS looks interesting here as it just made a downturn and now it could take off here. Let's see what happens. StockS doesn't look too bad, but I'm looking for kind of swings out there that I can come after. So we'll see what happens here if we can start getting some swing trades. What else could we open up, guys? AMD to the short side. We'll see. AMD's been so hot. At some point, I'm feeling this turns back down. We'll find out in 8 days today.
If you had to pick, Mitch, AMD or NVIDIA?
At this point, I would not try to fight NVIDIA because the big money's locked in there. But I know that AMD loves to do like kind of big moves up and then big moves down. So I wouldn't find it wrong for AMD to come back to maybe 120s, even just today. It just did a kind of a little bit of an attempt breakout. And a lot of times you catch some bulls and you pull back towards the support. So if the Qs could come down, I could see AMD going there. NVIDIA is just going to be a battle overall. If it gets back above 490s, I think you get to that 500. But if you go back to 450, you're going to start breaking some of the bulls.
Fair enough.
It's a hard trade. It's a hard trade right there. I'll tell you that much because you know how I felt about AI, and I've been talking about like show me the money and things like that. So
I remember those days. That was just a few months ago.
Yeah, and so the key here now is taking a look at, okay, so the underlying asset in AI is the chips, right? And we can clearly see that got bought up in NVIDIA, right? So the chips are out there. But is the building going to bring the revenue? That's where you got to ask yourself. Stocks that have, like, let's say, exposure to the underlying asset of AI, I think, yeah, continue getting that lift. But the products themselves, are they causing more members to buy that product? Like, let's say like Adobe, right? They have a lot of generative fill products, right? Is this causing more customers to come to Adobe because the prices haven't changed at Adobe because they've added these AI features, right? So essentially they're not getting more money, but there is probably more expense going in here, Nick, because they have to pay to have those chips, right? They have to pay to have the products, the developers develop these products. Are they going to charge more? That's not what they're doing right now. So where's the money going to go to the bottom line, right? I know that people are using AI. I use AI.
You think saying it 153 times is going to help the company?
Yeah, I mean, this is my question, right? I use AI every day, but have I paid a single dime to anybody with an AI product? No. And so this is the one thing that I think is like the hype versus the reality kind of thing, right? Just like you'll see on like YouTube, a lot of comparisons now, real life to social media life. This is how it is, right? It's what is the real life aspects of AI and what is in the news. So the news makes AI seem like it's the new .com boom. But the truth is that there's a lot of building, but not a lot of revenue coming behind this AI.
But what about the images? How would you position yourself for the AI images and AI or AI news? Because we've seen a lot regarding the different social media platforms, regarding X to Threads to Meta, that there's these AI images and there's these accounts that just do this AI productivity that aren't real, and they send shockwaves through the nation. How could social media companies start regulating? And we've seen on X, with Musk, Mitch, that a lot of people are leaving the platform and transitioning to Threads, and while keeping their account active on X. But when you transition over to Threads, it's nothing like X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. There's like so many different comparisons you can make between Threads and X. I'm on both platforms. I really don't go on Threads a lot, and even if I do, I see the same content that I would see on X. But it's more, there's more conversations that are happening to a better tone, and there's not a lot of drama, and then there's not a lot of smart Alex on Threads like there is on X.
I agree, and I think these are all things to think about, right? The chat bringing some conversation. Crassy saying that Adobe Creative Cloud subscriptions went up 10% across the board. And what dates are these from, Crassy? So I don't mind the comment. This is exactly what I wanted to have the conversation about. So it's pretty interesting, right? I mean, I use Adobe Cloud. I have it, guys. I just pay for it consistently, so I don't see the change there. Do I like Adobe? Yeah, you guys know that was my #1 kind of AI stock that I felt that at least had real AI products, right? Where I've tested them and I've been like, okay, this works. You know how many generative fills I've gone to, like different products, and I'm just like, this is the most garbage product ever. Like, I would never use this art in my life. And this is also has to do with just overall large language models, right? Are these the end all be all solution? No, I don't think so, right? I think that these are just a starter, like everything in technology. And you guys can tell me, is there anything that falls outside of this? It comes in waves. We have like first wave. That's when you get the early majority, kind of the early kind of innovators to jump in something, right? Then you get like kind of a second wave where the majority starts to join the party. And then you get the laggards on the third wave, which usually get hit because they're buying the high of the valuations. And that's the same way that I felt like crypto went, right? We had like kind of a 2018 boom. Then we had kind of like a 2020 boom, something like that. And then you guys can consider now, is this the next boom in crypto? I think everything in technology, it comes in waves, team.
Just like stocks and buying, they come in waves just because there's different sectors that are outperforming and doing better. But to bring it back to the general market, Mitch, big tech can't just be the outperformer. What about the other 493 stocks in the S&P 500? How can you position yourself so you're just not investing?
The truth is, Nick, I've thought about it. I've thought about this in the last year. Is there any reason to invest outside of the top 7 companies?
I don't know. If you're not a big tech person, then yes, you would have to find them, but you would have to look at the seasonals.
The thing there is that what you need to think about is years, and I've learned this now through experience, right? Like it's always like hindsight 2020 when you learn this, but something that we need to think about: years where the top 7 companies are down, and like let's say bearish markets, those are probably going to be amazing years to buy those top 7 stocks. Because they're top 7 stocks for a reason, guys. They have a tendency of always coming back. Very rare do we have top 7 companies become to the bottom 7 companies, right? There's only a few companies that have dropped out. Let's say since 2000, you can think about like maybe Chevron hasn't been as good. Like maybe some oil names, but know what you're in, right? A lot of the technology names have stuck around, right? I mean, in the last 10 years or something like that. So these are all things to think about. Or pick the top 50, like Joe's bringing up, the ETF XLG, things like this. I think actually makes sense, right? And this is where it's like, I just look back at my experiences and I like to learn from them, especially as a younger investor looking for opportunities. And Nick, you're part of that crew, right? I mean, these are all learning lessons. Bearish markets, maybe look at the top companies. I'll tell you one thing. Would you have gone wrong loading into Amazon? I don't think
No.
anybody in their world thought that Amazon was going down like we were going to lose Amazon in the bear market. But look at it now. It was part of my top 10 strongest performing stocks of the year that I did on pre-market prep. Shout out to you guys. If you guys want to check out pre-market prep, take a look into it. That was this morning. And look at that. Amazon up 74.66%, Nick. If that's a long-term position and you have a lot of money in that, are you mad now? No, man.
But
you're loaded.
But to the point is, how can you be a bull and just say, I'm putting all the money in big tech and I'm not changing one thing? As a bull, don't you have to kind of be diversified to be a bull? Just because big tech is not going to continue to go up and up every day, don't you have to kind of position yourselves, maybe put a little bit in bonds, maybe a little bit in financials, maybe a little bit in travel? Shouldn't you be diversified? Or should you kind of just say, oh, I'm a big tech person, I love big tech, we're putting all the money in big tech and we're not touching it?
I think that's the hard part there. And I found answers in books, and I can show you guys literally my books from college that say, yes, go diversify. Look at things like Sharpe ratio, right? Do cash flow models, Nick. I mean, I've learned it all. But the truth is, that stuff doesn't work in the real life, guys. That stuff doesn't work in the investment strategies that I know, and even cash flow models that are some of the top, right? What you hear, like the quantitative approach, right, to performance and building portfolios, right? I can tell you right now, they work when I do them in paper, but when I do them in real life and I try to make like calls like that, I'll tell you right now, it hasn't seemed to work. So I think that over diversification and diversification sometimes can get you into trouble and actually limit your gains, versus what I see is have high concentration in some of the top names might be the way. And I'm not saying that it is the only way, but it might be the way to get us more returns, especially someone like in your and I position, Nick, where if we lose all our investment portfolio, really, are we going to be too mad? It's not the end of the world for us just yet. We don't have millions in that portfolio, so we could always build it back. But one thing that you and I want is the return, right?
Yes.
We want to look back and be like, damn, we made 1,000% on Amazon throughout our lifetime.
But what about for the people that have the 401ks and they put a little bit of their paycheck into the 401ks? Should they kind of be communicating with their money manager kind of every day or kind of every paycheck saying, hey, I don't like these stocks, I need to get out of them? Or should they kind of just let the money manager and people who handle their money just do it? Or should they be involved in making these decisions?
I think it all depends on the amount of money that you can put into the hands into these financial investors. Because let's say if you're a doctor and this is nowhere near your realm of expertise and you just have a lot of money that you need to put to work, then yes, that kind of makes sense. Like always, financial advisors could bring you returns or they could not, right? I think the key here is always understanding what is your intentions, what is your investment outlook. Timeline is so important, your time frame. That's why I talk about it differently for you and I, Nick, than it is for someone else in the market. Look who it is. Ryan's back.
So a couple of things. Number one, what's going on? My entire portfolio is green. I don't have a single red position. That's not normal. So what the hell is going on? Number two, when I told you earlier that today was the most serious sales day that Benzinga does, I was not kidding. Was literally pulled off of this show to go make sure we had all of our sales and assets in line for today. So I'm just going to reiterate, this is the last time you're going to hear it from me today. If you folks want any product through Benzinga, today is the day. Call my man James. But I'm back. So what's going on? Seriously.
Well, you didn't miss too much. We were kind of just talking about stocks and how you should position yourself through year end. Big tech, should you invest in the 493 other companies in the S&P? Do we see financials? What about airlines? What about travel? We kind of touched on a little bit on it all, but we're just kind of discussing with the portfolio and how you should position yourself. Can you invest everything in big tech, or should you kind of be diversified?
Okay. Did you have any thought on whether or not you should have hot chocolate on a day like today, like I do with whipped cream? Okay, awesome. So we got that out of the way.
Yes.
As far as being invested in big tech, here's the way that I feel about this. First of all, big tech obviously been the biggest gain. So if you're in it, great. Might want to stay in that, or at least in partial. My thought is, for new trades going forward, I definitely expect the consumer to weaken. I don't. I got to think at some point there's a rotation out of tech into some of the other 7,000 stocks in the stock market instead of the 8 that people have been fortified in. And when that takes place, I want to be in some of those other names. Now, when does that happen? Your guess is as good as mine. I want to say early to mid 2024, but we'll see if that timeline holds up.
All right, guys, I'm just positioning in, guys. I even put an order out for a swing trade short on Microsoft. 380s is the resistance I see. I have 377.40s out. We'll see if I get the fill. I've been adding to SQQQ all morning long. I'm probably like 2 or 3 cents red here and looking for it to get to 16. And I'm going to look to keep adding on this because I just see like just quietness in the market. And when it's quiet, sometimes they could pull the plunger on it. Let's see what happens. I'm telling you guys, this is my more day trade style, especially if I get a nice little boom, I'll be able to sell some of this and then just keep holding on to it. We'll see what happens here on the Qs. Does it reject and come back to 389, or does it take 390s on the upside? Dun, dun, dun. Just wait till the next conversation. Ryan's going to love it. All right, guys, smash the like always. You guys see us using Trade the Pool, and look what's above you guys. Buy one, get one free. Get a free mini buying power account, guys, when you guys go ahead and get your Trade the Pool account right now, guys. I want to throw up the link here. And another bonus that they're giving you is a 45-day extension on your account so that you can work your account all the way up to 90 days to get yourself that evaluation account. I think that's important. That could get you to slow down and just think slow base hits. Get me that account. Well, check it out for yourself, team. I'm going to throw it up the link in just 2 seconds here.
SPRC curling back up towards that pre-market high. That looks like a fairly decent play here. I'm not in that one, but watching it here on SPRC.
Building up this position, guys. I'm taking my swing like always. I'm not afraid of it. I'm taking it, guys. We'll see what happens. Now I have 700 at 1589. Let's see what happens here. Another thing could be a 15-minute breakdown below 389.30s. Dun, dun, dun. See what happens here, guys. Industrials are strong today, guys. If I had to point to what's strong, it's energy, basic materials, healthcare, and industrials. What's on the downside? Utilities. What's just barely green? Technology. It's only up 0.9 from the open, and overall, it's red. So something to note. Consumer cyclicals definitely getting that nice little push. And where do I see the push? Auto manufacturing getting a lift today. So Tesla up 1%. There you guys see it. Ford up 2%. VFS even moving to the upside. And you guys know how I feel about VFS.
I was going to say, that's your favorite stock, yes. Mitch, VFS. Let's go.
Yeah, that's one of the favorites, right? Nah. Ball. The hell is Ball Corp? Like
they make the jars, right? Ball jars.
You see, this is why you have man Ryan.
I've traded Ball before.
It's moving. All right, looking around, team, looking to see if I can get this downside action to come in or not here. Going to look for the Qs to really start making that downside attempt now. Let's see if we get it. There you go. Starting to get a little bit above here. Let's step up to the plate here, guys. 800 shares. You know what? Let's go. 900 shares. Let's see if we can get this to get through here. Boom, boom. Now I just want to see that nice little takeoff run to 16 here. Let's see if we get it. Q's testing that breakdown move. Now I just need it to really kind of rip. Microsoft got me in on that short. Nice little pop fill there at the 377.40. So, you know, sometimes people have a tendency sometimes maybe saying that we don't get the best fills. That was a really nice fill there. 377.40.
Sticking with Microsoft, how would you think with them investing in this OpenAI and 10 billion? I don't think they've given them the full 10 billion, or they haven't given them any money. How would you say Microsoft is positioned with AI? Are they kind of like the lone controller now that Satya Nadella kind of has to make sure nothing goes wrong at OpenAI, just because we saw that he was going to hire Sam Altman and other employees to their research team? Now, that wasn't a done deal because Altman's back as CEO. How do you, as a Microsoft employee, well, as CEO Satya Nadella, but also as an investor in Microsoft, how do you kind of position yourself for this news on OpenAI and anything that could be coming in the future?
I mean, it just goes to show you sometimes that sometimes you don't want to speak too loud. I think they jumped way too quickly and to put it in the headlines that they'd add Sam, and that caused more like backlash on OpenAI than I think even they intended or Microsoft intended. I think they would have been happier that Sam went to them than go back to OpenAI. Even though they made that investment, I would want him a part of my team, like literally to the left, versus like I got to call him and he's on another board, right?
Do you think Copilot, Mitch? Do you think Copilot is something that and Azure cloud growth is something that Microsoft investors want to know and should be tuned? Because I actually pay for Microsoft. I have my own Microsoft account. I pay $7.99 a month for all the features. But like the other companies, Mitch, you kind of have to factor NBC Universal. So that's NBC, MSNBC, CNBC. I know off the top of my head, use Microsoft. And then with this new Copilot, that's an additional $30 a month per user. How should these major tech companies and companies that use Microsoft position themselves for Copilot? Is Copilot a good investment to be in Microsoft for?
That's a hard one, man. The big thing there is going to be if Microsoft actually competes with Google, right? In the long run, will they compete with Google? Will they take some of that?
Can Google investors depend on Baird? Or do you kind of have to look at the key differences and key similarities between the Google Baird and the Microsoft Copilot?
I think it has a lot to do with also is, will these companies be focused on creating their own AI chips or using chips of others and using products of others, essentially? Because that's what they're essentially doing here in the long run, is not creating their own. This is why I think Apple's so quiet also with AI. They're not so front facing with AI. I think that's just showing you what they're probably building. They want to be there. They just don't want to talk too early. And then they want to come out with, I'm sure in the long run, Apple's going to come out with some crazy AI. I wouldn't doubt it, right? I mean, Apple gets their hand in everything. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, sometimes they're just too late to get their hand in it.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's so many sheets. There's so many sheets out there that just take whatever they give, man. Whatever. I think
with AI, they won't be too late. AI will be so big that they'll be fine in it. By the way, SPRC ripping to the highs. They did take out that pre-market high.
Okay.
It kind of came back in. SPRC, that trade is working here.
I was seeing shot earlier. We'll see what happens with that. All right, guys, looking for this to really start pushing now. I want to see the Qs close below 389.18 here, and that's going to push my SQQQ trade up into the green. I'll be around with you guys for another, 18 minutes here, guys, as we'll wrap it up at 10:30 here. Let's see if I can actually get this move, guys. 1,000 shares deep here, 1590s.
I was going to say the UBS trading desk making some comments this morning. There's a note floating around. Quote, there has been a sharp rally in gold and silver as the U.S. reopens after the Thanksgiving holiday. It's hard to tell why, if anything, news from the Middle East points more in the direction of de-escalation. And that kind of points to, well, WTI, crude, but also this point of, and Ryan, I think you missed this, but we were talking about this Vienna talk and the OPEC Plus, them postponing the meeting this weekend, moving into next Thursday, but being virtual, kind of puts some pressure on other countries that aren't pumping oil like Saudis and Russia, and they're kind of trying to hand the responsibilities more to Argentina. That kind of puts a pressure on XLE and prices themselves, because we've seen prices decline, but moving it to being virtual last minute and moving it to next week kind of puts some thoughts in doubt that what OPEC is going to do and extend its cuts. I think they're going to try and scale back on a little bit of them when they meet next Thursday virtually.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a read on that, but that's interesting. Well, I guess we'll pay attention and see what happens there.
Yeah, there's a reason why I'm adding the XLE, but they can always turn things up. And that's the hard part of oil. You deal with a lot of noise out there, and that's just a part of it. It's the part of trading oil. All right, guys, here's the Q move. I'm stepping up to the plate, and as it goes to 1595s, I'm going to be adding more and just looking for the real breakdown here in the Qs. Here's 94s, 95s. I'm hitting it there. Now I got 1,100 shares, and we're starting to go in the direction. So now I can go ahead and establish the risk 1585s here, about 5 cents of risk, looking for the push above 16s to keep going, sell some of the rip, and then keep the rest on for the day. We'll see what happens as the Qs head down the 389.10s. Now I just need to see a close for me for conviction, 389.10. A close below that, especially in the 388s on this 5-minute candle, will be looking good.
Elon, I missed what Dennis's pharma trade was, but given the 2 stocks that you're presenting for me here, I would rather have Bristol Myers. I actually still have a Bristol Myers swing on in the trade the pool account, and that's actually going pretty well here today. So my choice here would be Bristol Myers. I'm afraid I am missing a little bit of context. And really quickly, guys, SPRC just absolutely ripping right now. So this trade here, when I had first mentioned it, we were right in here about 950 on this curl up. We had pushed away from the VWAP. The volume has continued to expand. We actually took off the pre-market high here. SPRC printing right now. Be sure to sell into this move if you have it. This is so far our turkey crack day play of the day here. SPRC moving $2 from the entry that we talked about.
All right, guys, looking for a last little pop here to sell some into this SQQQ move. Even going to put some orders out there at above 16s to sell pretty much half of it. We'll see what happens if I get that move. The wick came down. It went to 388.86. Let's see if the Qs come back ripping here, or do we reject that 389.10 area?
What do you think of Bitcoin?
SPRC halted to the upside here, 1159. Bitcoin's strong here today. Bitcoin's strong here today. Be sure to sell your Bitcoins to therapists. If you know, you know.
All right. At least Microsoft coming down here. And it's time to get off topic a little bit here. I told you guys I'd bring you guys something interesting, right? Like always.
Oh
boy.
All right. Well, do you guys know about the National Dog Show, man? Were you guys watching the National Dog Show yesterday?
I was.
No, I check in on Westminster, but I didn't check out the National Dog Show yesterday.
I did.
Come on, guys. It was on Thanksgiving, of course, NBC, and the winner, Stash, baby. Stash took the win here, man. Look at my boy Stash with the win. And what kind of dog is he, of course? That's what matters here. He's a Sealyham Terrier. Badass Sealyham Terrier. You guys should have seen the walk, man. The walk was priceless there, guys. Hey, shout out to my man Stash. He's gonna be on the Today Show today. So if you got the Today Show fans, it's probably already on.
Today Show fans?
Yeah, man.
What? Okay,
yeah.
I'm not even gonna get it. I'm not even gonna get into that because that stuff's all
garbage. You don't
garbage.
want the Today Show, man?
God, no. That stuff is absolutely awful. Did you bet the dog show by chance? Did you bet this?
Dude.
Did you bet? Man,
I wish I would have bet.
I was just gonna say, Mitch, we need an alert ahead of time on some of these things so that we can participate.
Well, Mitch, don't you want to uncover our betting the week bet?
Kaylee coming out swinging here, Muppet of a dog. Get some.
Well, don't you want to share our bet, Mitch, with the crowd regarding the Dolphins and the Jets?
Oh, let's do it, dude. Let's do it. Dash got to do, up. Man.
Fins up for Mitch.
Yeah, fins up. You know it, man. All I got to say is Jets suck.
Coming from the
Jets. Jets.
When you go to the Miami Dolphins Stadium, ever, just once, when they have the Jets game and you get to hear hundreds of, I'm going to say hundreds, I'm exaggerate here, but hundreds of thousands of fans say it when the Jets are getting their ball, you hear it. You see the ball just fly up and just hear, suck.
Voodoo, yes. My positions were not closed. They were partially closed. So I had both TGTX, and BMY, and partial of the positions were closed because you have different buying power overnight, not the same as a traditional account. PXMD getting a call. PXMD was on the list from this morning.
All right, guys. I just hit the cash register there on Microsoft. Not a bad little trade there. Hit some cash on that because I'm looking for the SQQQ to rip, but might as well pay myself a little bit there. See the SQQQ rip, and then at least I'm not going to be mad that I didn't take any gains. We'll find out what happens here. Dun, dun, dun. SRPC. There you go. I'm going to put up.
SPRC. It's halted. It's halted.
There you go. Not a bad one to watch. You have that one up?
That's been, I have it in pro. That's been a good move. I actually have it in pro and trade the pool, but I don't have a position on it. This one here has definitely been the crack play of the day, though.
All right, guys, the wall of algo buying seems to be coming back in here around the 389s to 389.10s. If it gets back above, let's say 390s, you could still get a squeeze on the day. So I'm going to give it the chance here, but if we just start ramping back to the VWAP, that's when I got to maybe just cut the SQQQ, limit the downside risk, opportunity for the gain. That's what I'm trying to do right now. All right, what else are we looking at, Cheem?
Hot chocolate, baby. This is a perfect day for hot chocolate. Dude, I'm ripping it right now.
Hot chocolate. About to whip out the bourbon.
All right, it is 5 o'clock somewhere.
Hey, I got to go Black Friday shopping after this, so, you might need a little bit.
What are you buying, Mitch? What are you going to buy?
Yeah, what are you buying? That's a good question. What are you buying?
That is interesting.
What are you looking for? I'm curious to know. A lot of things.
I mean, like kind of smaller goods, nothing major.
So do you actually like going to stores? Like, do you like physically going to brick and mortar on Black Friday?
There's a reason why I need bourbon, Ryan. There's a reason why I need bourbon before I get to the store.
You don't like it then.
I do. Ryan, I'll take the other side. I actually enjoy going Black Friday shopping.
Okay. Why?
Just because... Well, I do like to spend money. I'll disclose that a lot. But in general, I like the smaller items, like the different pieces around the house, like maybe different baskets, different lamps, things just to get around the room. And plus the Christmas season, I do try and get a head start on Christmas shopping for friends and family. But normally I just wait for Amazon Cyber Monday. But the holiday shopping, because normally that's a perfect time to go out to eat. We normally end up going to the Cheesecake Factory after we go Black Friday shopping, which is always packed. But like last year on Black Friday, I bought an Apple Watch, which was a bigger purchase. But I normally I like the smaller goods, like Christmas lights, Christmas decorations, different wreaths, ornaments.
Yeah, I will say I might go to the local grocery store to get my Christmas wreath today. If they have a mini tree, I'll stick a tree out on my balcony and put some lights on that as well. But generally speaking, I try to avoid anything where I have to go somewhere. And it's interesting about the restaurant. I would have thought that restaurants would have been a little light the day after Thanksgiving with all those leftovers still in the fridge. But you're right. I guess if people are out, they're going to go out and eat too. That would make sense.
Especially the Cheesecake Factory, 2 to 3 hour wait normally by me on a Black Friday. So if you're going, it's like you got to make reservations. And even trying to walk the whole mall, it's like, can the time just going? Oh, Lovesac. I'll tell you that last year, people loved Lovesac. They're a bit pricey.
Lovesac is featured at Costco now. So take that for the great. By the way, Smoke Tuna, you asked earlier what wine I had for Thanksgiving. I had a white and a red. I had a Canvasback Cabernet from 2016. That was the year the grapes were extremely good on the west coast of the United States here. So Canvasback was my red wine. Sorry, Pro just crashed here. Mitch, I'm going to go to you.
No worries.
And then I opened up a Fest Parker Chardonnay on the late night. So the Canvasback was excellent. The Chardonnay was all right. Not my favorite, but drinkable and well priced.
I like it, guys. I'm looking to try to get this pop here. The Q's rejected that 9 EMA. Now looking to see if we take the next leg lower here on the Q's, and that should get me the pop maybe towards the 16. Let's see if we get it here. Just looking for a little bit of some Black Friday money. Should I go get to the preamble? I'm thinking it. Got a little.
You don't use this time to shop big, like get anything big, like new electronics, like new TVs or new appliances.
I pretty much have all those things, man.
That's my issue too. I would, Nick, to answer your question, I would use today because the sales are quite good, but I'm in no need of an upgraded TV. Last year, I bought an upgraded monitor. I bought a 4K monitor that was 144 hertz for the purpose of gaming. Those are very difficult to find. I got an incredible deal, like $400 off. But I don't need any of that technology stuff this year. I am waiting on Bettinardi's drop here at 10 o'clock in the morning Central. Going to look for a new putter head cover here off this Black Friday special. But other than that, I'm waiting to see if there are deals that look appealing. If there are, I'll grab them.
So that would be for Cyber Monday, right? Do you think deals? I mean, how do you position yourself, Ryan? Because there's a lot of stores and there's a lot of the major retailers that have so much backlog and so many items that are continuing to be on, I don't want to say back order, but they have so much inventory. What's the best way to get rid of them? 65% off?
Yeah. So the way I position myself is behind a mountain of cash, because that way, when I have retailers that are trying to put all of their stuff on sale, or, after Cyber Monday, this is 70% off, this is 80% off, I'm positioned behind a mountain of cash, and then I'm able to take advantage of those deals. So the way I'm looking at it is that if there's something I'm after, I'll actively seek out a deal, but otherwise I'll basically just stay in cash and wait. And if there's any deal that looks really, really good, or the price is just so incredible, then I pounce on it.
Do you think the Christmas season this year is going to have the best deals and beat Black Friday sales?
That's an interesting question. I go back and forth on it. I want to say no by volume, but I do want to say that I think that you might have more sales being offered closer to Christmas, because that consumer is starting to tighten, and retailers might be trying to, catch up. You might actually get some better sales closer to Christmas, but I'm not necessarily waiting for that. If it happens, great. I'm not necessarily expecting that, I would say.
I want to see like the MasterCard, the Adobe. I am interested in what is the most products that are being bought. So I can't wait to see once we get in through next week. And if I do end up having it, I know I won't be able to be on the show. I'll be sure to send it your way, just because it's good data to keep in mind. Like Amazon, do we expect Amazon to outperform regarding the sales, or is it going to be more of the Costco, the Targets, the Walmarts, the Sam's Club that outperform? How do you position yourself to shop online versus?
I think Amazon is going to be the big winner of this Black Friday. Real quick, SPRC is open, 13s and 14s now. SPRC, if you guys still have any of this, please make sure you're trimming and getting some Black Friday money.
All right, guys. Looks like I might get my 16 break here on the SQQQ. Don't want to jinx myself, but it's at 1598 here. Q's looking like they might go another leg here. Can we get it to go down here? We'll find out right now. But little preamble life. Not too bad.
I can't see it.
Right,
going full screen on you. Going full screen on you.
Boom. Little preamble life. Little 7 jars. This is a local.
7 jars. Okay.
This is a local.
If anybody sees Mitch out in the stores this afternoon, he'll probably be nuts already.
Oh, you heard that, baby. You heard that. not bad. It's not bad.
Just drink the whole bottle. What's wrong with that?
Yeah. Just freaking knock it down, right? Oh, have you guys ever seen that guy? What's his name? Dang, I forgot his name.
Just start chugging live on the air.
Oh, I think the Shoemeister or something like that. I forgot, man. But he was a monster. There's this guy that's
Bitcoin 39K
on YouTube that just chugs down bottles. Put it that way.
Ryan? What's wrong with that? Just chug the whole bottle live on air.
Dude, so I actually got challenged when I was in college. I was like, I think I was 22 at the time. I got challenged by one of my friend's older brothers who's been drinking for far longer than us to drink vodka straight out of the bottle, and I absolutely turned the screws on him. It was a bottle, it was a fifth. I literally pulled like 3/4 of the bottle in one pull, and I sat it down on the table and looked at him, and I'm like, now it's your turn. He didn't even take any of it. So I was like,
you
okay.
drink the whole bottle and you don't get a call from the office or from our bosses. That means they weren't watching. So you have a 50-50 chance that they're either watching or they're not.
Mitch is already drinking liquor. I don't know what to tell you about that.
Yeah, right.
One sip. Everyone knows the rules. Let's go.
You know what happens there, right? You hit 16 and it goes right back down.
Just keep going, Mitch. One glass ain't enough for a Black Friday shopper.
I'll tell you what, at 10 in the morning, it definitely puts some hair on your chest there.
You like that one, didn't you, Mitch?
Oh, yeah.
Now we granddad's whiskey. That's what it was. Oh, man. It was.
This is a moonshine recipe. This is a recipe from 1948. There you go.
Ryan, he'll end up probably having 4 glasses. He'll have one now, one before shopping, one after, and then one for dinner.
Trying to start it right, man. Trying to start it right.
I mean,
it's Friday,
Mitch
right?
Mitch is going to do what Mitch is going to do.
Chug, chug, chug.
Hey, let's just say, man, there's no need to trade anymore. It's just let the trade work or let it not. That's what I'll find out right here. Here's 16. We're at 77. I just need a little pop above 16. Can the Qs come down here? Let's find out. On the 16th pop, I definitely want to sell some. There's a little bit of a wall here at 63,000, but there's a lot of buying on the bid side. So let's see what happens here. Let's see if we can push through the 16, get to like 1605. Then I could sell half of it. Not more than that.
Mitch, the good
get
thing,
a rip and sell.
The good thing here, look at all of you can do this right now on your screen. Just roll through some of the big cap tech charts. Look at NVIDIA, look at Apple, even Amazon. They all look the same, and they're all helping your SQQQ trade here. So remember, I didn't take any new position here on SQQQ. I'm still holding mine. If you recall, right after NVIDIA's earnings, Jay Rice from the chat here was razzing me, saying I should have sold my SQQQ. I didn't, add it, and now we're higher on SQQQ. So I'm still holding it here. We're waiting on that. We're waiting on a big push. I actually think 13, shout out to you. I think this is setting up for a fairly decent sell-off on Monday.
Yeah, we'll see what happens if the sell-off continues all day. I'll tell you what, guys, we'll probably wrap it up here. It's 10:31. We talked about everything here. We talked about some stocks. We even talked about the dog show today. But definitely smash the like, guys. We have a great time here on Live Trading. I want to thank, of course, my man Nick Brown for joining us today. If you don't know news by Nick, well, definitely give him a follow on Twitter. He's been keeping up with us. I hope school has been going well for you, my friend. So definitely shout out to that. You're a senior last year, right? I mean, you got to enjoy that. I know I enjoyed my senior year. Don't forget to enjoy it, man, because I know it goes by fast.
Yep.
We all could tell you that, especially from experience. So enjoy that. Have a great time.
I'll be on the show Monday, too.
Yeah. Awesome. That sounds great,
Cyber Monday. Let's go. We'll have a Black Friday report, right, from Friday. And we'll be awaiting data from Cyber Monday. I'm all about it. Let's go.
We'll be shopping live on the air. I'll have Amazon.
Oh, dude, for sure.
Love to hear it, guys. Be safe out there. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys back on Monday, of course. Who let the dogs out is right. Woof, woof, woof out there. Have a great time, guys. Spend some time with the family. Guess what? The markets will be here on Monday, so don't worry about them. They'll be here, guys. But like always, take advantage of all the sales. especially like tools, right? Maybe that could be the move for you today, guys. Check out Benzinga Pro. I'm going to throw up the link here for Trade the Pool. If you got a link here, anything for Ryan, any code, is there a code that they need for the Black Friday?
The code, I don't have the code there. There is, but this is what
Just
you need
use
to
that
do.
code, guys.
I don't have a code to give you, but what I'm saying here is that I'm going to give you the contact information because this is actually going to be better than the code. This is James. He's working all day. He's got deals on every single product, double the deals if you bundle. So ask him about that. His contact information, direct phone number, direct email in the chat, any product or any bundle of products. Hit my man, James. He will hook it up. We'll see you next week.
Number one thing I think to remember about James is that he used to be just like you guys in the chat right here, guys.
James was from our YouTube chat, correct?
He's one of us. That's the way I feel it.
Which is why I keep giving you his information. He is literally one of us.
Yeah, that's what I love. That's what it's all about here, guys. Hit the subscribe if you're not subscribed already, guys. We'll see you back here on Monday. Smash the like, team. It's always good to be with you guys, and we'll see you next time, team. And what should we end off today? We got to do a little Christmas vibe. Let's end off with this one.
Mr. McAllister. No, I'm the king of the cool.